problems. But anyway, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Wall Street Reporter's next Super Stock Conference for January 23, 2020. Today, we have a special presentation by Dr. Nader Pourhassan of CytoDyn. Stock symbol is CYDY. As most of you know, CytoDyn has a blockbuster potential portfolio of really exciting drugs in the pipeline for cancer, HIV. They just signed an $87.5 million licensing deal, and CytoDyn has been a regular presenter at our events. And those of you who've been following us have probably noticed the stock going from 35 cents last time Dr. Pourhassan was here in November to a recent trade of, I think, $1.11 this morning. Looks like this could be just the beginning. So for those of you who are new to Wall Street Reporter, the premise of the next Super Stock Conference is simple. We're looking for companies with big upside potential, going after billion-dollar opportunities. Most importantly, right now, they're positioned at key inflection points with really transformative growth potential ahead. And most importantly, they have CEOs, management who get it, who understand how to create shareholder value. I think those of you who are going to watch the presentation today who know CytoDyn will agree that this company exemplifies those qualities. So the format for today is simple. Dr. Pourhassan is going to run through his presentation for about 20 minutes, and then we'll open up to Q&A. We've had a little bit of some technical difficulties, so hopefully everything will work. And we're going to actually try a new format today. We'll actually have some live questions. So if you click on the hand icon to raise your hand, I will be able to actually turn to you, and you can ask your questions right through your computer, through your mic, and the speakers on your system. So that being said, Dr. Pourhassan, let me turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mark, and thanks everyone for being on the call. Sorry about the technical difficulties. Today's presentation, I will be making many forward-looking statements. CytoDyn has a lead product, Leronlimab. This product, we believe, has 32 different indications. To start, we have developed this product for combination therapy in HIV and monotherapy for HIV. We have phase 2 for GvHD, NASH, triple-negative breast cancer, colon. Phase 2 was granted to us by FDA. We're working on prostate, pancreatic, melanoma, liver, lung, and stomach, and few other cancer indications. And we hope to file for a basket trial where the approval would be based upon mechanism of action. The mechanism of action of this product is very interesting. As you can see, in HIV, it's completely different mechanism of action. It's not the same as it is in cancer and autoimmune diseases. In regards to HIV, as you can see on the screen, there are CCR5 in a T cell. HIV happens to use T cell to multiply itself and copy itself. Without entering the T cell, HIV will go away, won't be viable. And because Leronlimab binds to CCR5 and it happens to be on the T cell also, so it works in HIV very well. And we have seen, based upon our data, we believe it works very well. And we believe that we could be getting approval very soon, as our BLA biggest milestone is due for HIV very soon. But in mechanism of action, binding to CCR5 is not just binding to CCR5. People should pay attention that it binds to exact location where HIV binds, which is the point that the HIV needs to use. And that area is 108% covered by Leronlimab. It's an amazing product. The inventor, Dr. William Olson from Ph.D. from MIT, said this was the biggest luck that we ever had, and this product could be a wonder drug of the world. And we are trying to make that statement to be a reality. So in regards to HIV, combination therapy had our primary endpoint, p-value 0.0032, 24 weeks, 81% responders rate. FDA gave us rolling review granted. First section out of 3 sections of BLA, biologic license application, was submitted last March. We hope that that section is already reviewed. Rolling review means the FDA will start review of each section as it is completed. We got 2 more sections to go, and those 2 we are hoping to complete by the end of the this year. I'm sorry, by the end of this month, which is end of January. The product had shown that it's superior to, most likely going to be superior to standard of care in regards to side effect, toxicity, resistance, and compliance. That's what we continue to prove to FDA what we have. If it's really the side effects are not there or serious adverse events are not there, even though there's mild side effect, serious adverse events related to drug has been 0 over 840 patients. That by itself is a very strong statement about the side effect toxicity of this product. In regards to the monotherapy, we have changed the dosage of the product from 350 milligram to 700 milligram. That's the dose we're going to be using to file BLA, and our monotherapy pivotal trial has to start hopefully soon, but we have to meet with FDA and finalize the protocol. We hope to do that soon after BLA, complete BLA is submitted. The market size varies from 2 to 4 billion for the combination, we believe, and monotherapy 6 to 9. In regards to prevention, Dr. Jonas Sasha has submitted abstract to CROI for late breaker. Usually people don't get late breaker. It's very, very rare. But if we do, that we can at least talk about it in a major setting. This is prevention of HIV, and we believe Leronlimab could be once a month injection. Memorandum of understanding was signed by Thai Red Cross, and 1,200 patient protocol is being finalized to be submitted to Thai FDA. We will use those data also for United States FDA and submit that to them once we get more data. Manufacturing, as we always said, Samsung Biologics has signed an agreement. We will talk to them again very soon, because we need to make sure that they are aware of the breakthrough designation we filed for cancer. We believe the future of cancer, we could have part of that. And if we do, we need quite a bit of product, and we will be having those discussions soon after March of this year. The licensing agreement that we need to make sure that there is no problem with launching the product has been signed by Viera Pharmaceutical. We are able to sign that contract and have $87.5 million to be paid to us on milestone basis. The Viera Pharmaceutical invested right after signing $4 million into CytoDyn, and we received $4.5 million, and we'll receive another $500,000 when we submit the BLA. So that makes a total of $5 million of fund will be transferred to us. 4.5 has already been transferred. So that concludes our HIV. In regards to cancer and immunology, we have talked in the public about our GvHD trial. We have gone silent on the GvHD a little bit, even though the results have been spectacular. In a preclinical setting, the mice that were injected by bone marrow and received Leronlimab stayed alive. Those mice that didn't have Leronlimab, they all died. That result allowed us to have a phase 2, and that phase 2 protocol was modified. Now we are hoping to start injecting a patient or 2 very soon. We didn't really push this program because of all the exciting results we got in our cancer trial. In regards to NASH, we just got the report for our NASH results that we announced already, but we got formal report which we are going to work on publishing that. Once we publish that, we believe big pharmas who are interested in NASH will be interested in us, because the result has been very strong. Excuse me. Again, the FDA saw those results and gave CytoDyn a phase 2 trial. In regards to cancer, our data from animal studies show 98% inhibition of metastasis. Therefore, we filed for metastasis triple negative breast cancer. The reason we filed for phase 2 for this trial was because this is a trial that patients don't have any viable regimen to take care of their problem, and we want to go for this indication because we probably could get breakthrough designation if the results are very strong. We have injected 4 patients. Patient number 5, 6, and 7 are probably going to be all injected before the end of next week. That's what we're shooting for. And these results that we got from the first 2 patients, if it's duplicated with other patients, we just believe that it will be some spectacular thing for this company. In regards to colon cancer, we also have phase 2 based upon SW4AD colon carcinoma study that we did in humanized mice. That was extremely strong study, and based upon the mechanism of action in cancer, which is not just Leronlimab having effect on the tumor, the primary tumor, because primary tumor, certain cells have CCR5, we believe, our scientists believe, and those are the cells that metastasize according to them. But also, one of the main things that we do is we have effect on macrophages, the leukocytes around the tumor. And by binding to the CCR5 and the macrophages, we allow the body to be able to fight the tumor by itself. And the results of the first 2 patients have been stunning. The first patient that we enrolled in metastasis triple-negative breast cancer, the tumor shrunk quickly by 20%, and currently that patient is doing very well. And I have talked to the doctor who knows her doctor, and they're feeling very good about that. The second patient was a family member. The results I read yesterday in my interview that I had in a video interview from Proactive. That's just blowing our mind away because that's a family member and we see how well she's reacting. But the results on the documented results of MRI and CT scan are just blowing our mind away. In regards to our strategy, we have patents. We can raise non-dilutive money with patent, we believe, and just using our patent as a collateral. We believe we could get a $40 to $50 million deal, non-dilutive, just pay the loan off when we get 2-3 years down the road, and also pay interest. So we have been having discussions for the last 2.5 months now with over 13, 14 companies, I believe somewhere around 18 now. And all the people who talk to us, and they came to JP Morgan to meet with me personally, they all have indicated interest of giving us non-dilutive, non-binding term sheet. We should be getting the first term sheet hopefully in a week or so. We have 5 board members, and now we added another board member for audit chairman, which is Alan Timman. Alan brings a wealth of experience as a chief financial officer of other companies in the healthcare space, and Mr. Michael Klump, who has been tremendous for us. Due to vast number of businesses that he has, he was not able to give us more time and had to step down, but he has agreed to give us advisory contract, to sign an advisory contract with us so he could help us. And this is something we asked him. He is very, very busy, but he's excited about the company, as willing, and has indicated that he's willing to help us going forward. In this company, our first mission and first priority would be to save lives. That's our cancer product, and that's going for the cancer indication that potentially can get us to the finish line quickly with breakthrough designation. Our second priority is improving quality of life. We have shown that with our HIV. We have video interview of 9 patients who had gone 2.5 years ago. Those patients, some of them are now 5 years without any standard of care, only with single injection of Leronlimab once a week, and a single dose, I should say, because each dose has 2 injections, one after another. And they were doing very well 2.5 years ago. They talk about how great this product is, and 2.5 years later, some of those patients are now 5 years and 3 months with monotherapy. We hope to have monotherapy available. This would, in our opinion, improve quality of life. And then the increasing of shareholder value is something we have to do to allow these 2 priorities to come to reality. And hopefully, if we have the results of cancer continue to be impressive, we will make a statement that the future of cancer could be tremendously stopped by this product. I have seen this first class with my own family member, my mother-in-law, and I am excited to get the 50 or 60 patients who are waiting right now to get on this product under either expanded access or single patient IND, to get them involved, and hopefully having 50, 60 people injected, the results will be amazing if it's duplicated of results of the first 2 patients. So with that, I will turn it to everybody to ask any question that you might have.
Okay, great. Now, so let's open up for questions, and really the questions that we get from the audience really makes the whole conference here. We have some very knowledgeable biotech investors here, so looking forward to getting your questions. Please just raise your hand on through that icon, and I'll turn over to you so we can answer through the mic. What we'll do is we'll start with the questions. Let's see. Okay, we'll start with questions coming in today. Okay, so Paul is asking, hard time frame for submitting all remaining data sets to start the clock on BLA submission for HIV combo therapy.
Yeah, thank you for your question. This is in the mind of everybody, but I need everybody to please go and check few facts about this kind of things. We said we have our BLA ready back in 2018, I believe, and it got delayed. We lost a lot of credibility because everybody said, well, they were just excited and said things that they shouldn't have said. We disagree with that. We said we had 30 patient study at one time. FDA says you need to have 100 after we finish the 30 patients, because the FDA's stance was you need 100 patients safety. That's reasonable, very reasonable what they said. But then we argue that if we do 100 patients with combination therapy, that'll take us 4 more years. That would take us to 2022 before we can lock the data and hit our primary endpoint. FDA was understanding. FDA says do 50 patients for safety. So therefore, don't end your trial. Continue 30 to 50. That patients population, 30 patients, took us 4 years. To get 20 more, we expedited everything we could, and we were able to finish it in a year. So now we hit our primary endpoint. We were ready to file the BLA by September. It was all September of 2019, and that timeline fell through. And everybody says, there we go again, another timeline. Now maybe we have 20 timelines that we beat. For example, filing for NASH, we said what we're going to do, we did it much sooner, and filing for colon cancer and all this stuff that we beat. But everybody says, why did you miss September? Which is reasonable for shareholders to ask that question. And the reason was that FDA asked us that it's not reasonable for the combination therapy to have 350 milligram when you yourself proved that 700 milligram is more efficacious. Very reasonable. And they were very understanding by allowing us to use the monotherapy data of 700 milligram to file for a BLA for combination with the 700 milligram. But then again, they need some data to look at, and they needed at least 24 weeks, 50 patients from monotherapy. 24 weeks is 6 months. So that happened in September. We missed our deadline, and we said end of the year, which is 3 months later. Now, as we agreed with the FDA to do 700 milligram, they just told us that we need to put everything in the CDISC format. And I said to everybody, CDISC format is going to be very difficult to do because the monotherapy was not to be shut down. It's not shut down yet. So we are working around the clock to get the clinical section ready. And we believe, as I talked to our clinical director of our clinical operation, that we will have that ready by the end of this month, as we said. By the end of this month is 8 more days. And I'm excited to announce that. That would be a historical achievement. Now, the next part is manufacturing. Now, if you do your homework and check out the last antibody that got approved, which was Truganza, they met their timeline of when they were going to submit the BLA. But once it was reviewed during 6 months, they had accelerated approval like us. They heard from FDA that the manufacturing failed. So they had to go back and take another 6 months. It delayed 6 months to correct all the manufacturing problems. We don't have those problems in manufacturing. And keep in mind, big pharmaceutical VIV, at the very last minute, FDA says not approved due to certain things that had to do with manufacturing. So our manufacturing, we expedited everything. We had all of our data for lower dose. We had 1 year stability, but we have to give 700 milligram stability. So we should have that done by the end of the month of January. If AGC give us the rest of the results, I'm having calls with them in a couple of days to make sure those things are happening. But if it gets delayed a week or 2 weeks, or so the clinical section, as it's submitted, will be starting the review. During the 6 months period, manufacturing has to get more data to FDA, which is the 3 more months of stability. They agreed to do that. So we're working with all of those, and I'm very excited to update everybody by the end of the month, and probably a day or two to get the press release together and let everybody know exactly where we are. But we are there. We are almost there. We are almost there to file for combination therapy for this powerful drug called Leronlimab, who has shown 0 serious adverse event in over 840 patients. Please don't take your eyes off of that ball, because if you do, you will miss a lot of things, in my opinion. But with that, please, let's have the next question.
Okay, yeah, we have a lot of questions. Nader, can you, I think you switched your webcam off. If you can turn the webcam back on. People love seeing you. So meanwhile, I'll ask you here. Okay, so we have several. Well, Hector is asking 3 questions, 4 questions. Okay. Okay, so Hector is asking, why did the FDA require all data from monotherapy for combo application? Was only safety or efficacy as well that was requested?
So the FDA has been nothing but spectacular for us, and the FDA has a job to do, which is to make sure that each product is safe for the patients. When we do a 50-patient study, is unheard of to get approval in HIV, where not a good product out there, and get approval with 50 patients. The reason they let 50 patients go through is because that combination therapy is for patients that, which means if they do have 3 or 4 classes of resistance, they could have problems with their regimen, with their health. So because of that, we went with 50 patients. Now, the FDA, as I just said, once they saw, the company said that our 700 milligram had 95% efficacy in monotherapy post 10 weeks of induction period. They said, what are we missing? If 350 is not as efficacious as 700, why don't you do 700? Then people ask us, well, haven't you done dose analysis already in phase 1? We did, but with sub-Q, we had 2 shots, 175 milligram each shot, and 2 shots was maximum we were going to go, and the doctors told us that that's all they want to do, no more than 2 shots. Later on, when there was no site injection reaction, we went to the same 2 dose, but increased the volume. We didn't think it's going to, the patients would be able to tolerate. They did. It surprised us in a good way. So we went to 700 milligrams. So the FDA says, give us some data to make us comfortable with the safety of a higher dose. Very reasonable, nothing unreasonable. And they asked for 50 patients, not 5,000, not 500. It would have been dead if they had asked for this. We would have been dead if they had asked for that. They asked for 50, very reasonable. So we're getting this product, which is a spectacular product, in my opinion, to the finish line. And the reason we got the licensing agreement is because when a very well-known company, Viera Pharmaceutical, went and looked under the hood and they checked everything in our data room, checked the FDA minute, they said, yeah, Nader and CytoDyn are telling us everything, the truth. And because they're truthful and honest, we're going to sign a contract to launch their product, give them $87.5 million milestone, give them 50% of the net sales, and give them 10% above the cost of goods to them. That's why, because we built a powerful thing with the shareholders trusting us and giving us their funding. And the FDA is being very, very reasonable.
Okay. Next question. So two more questions from Hector here. Hector's asking, how is the basket application to FDA for oncology going?
So the basket trial is a trial that you need to show at least in vitro study of different cell line. So we have ordered about 8 or 9 cell line to be analyzed, and those things takes a few weeks. However, I have gone back to our regulatory team and asked to file the basket trial right now and not wait for that, because we have 55 patients or so that need to get enrolled, and it's difficult to get them enrolled through single patient IND. The fact that the first 2 patients are 2 different indication that population of breast cancer. One of them is HER2 positive, one of them is triple negative. That fact means that our mechanism of action is working. Both of these patients had 0 CCR5 on their tumor cells. So what was Leronlimab working on? Leronlimab was working on what Dr. Bruce Patterson clearly told everybody, and it's in published paper, on the macrophages, the leukocytes that are around the tumor. Both of these patients had high level of CCR5. We modified our protocol to make sure that that's the criteria of enrollment. So we enrolled both of them. So if the leronlimab is acting on the macrophages of the body, so it doesn't matter if you have breast cancer, colon cancer, liver cancer, lung cancer, melanoma, pancreatic, it's on the macrophages. That's one of the mechanism of actions. And the other mechanism of action is angiogenesis. And that one, again, doesn't have anything to do with the tumor, the solid tumor itself. So I have ordered for Amarex to file a basket trial immediately. So I'm hoping any day we will announce that.
Okay. So Dr. Pourhassan, looks like we have at least 20 more questions. So I hope you have some time here.
Yeah, please. We'll get to as many as we can.
Okay, great. So we're going to go to we'll go to the next question here. And again, I think let's try to mix it up a little bit. We'll go to the live questions. So if you want to ask your question live on audio, just click the hand wave, raise your hand icon, and we'll go to you after this question. Okay, so one more question from Hector. Hector saying, congratulations on the astounding data for breast cancer for the first 2 patients! Exclamation point. Remarkable results, to say the least. When do we expect news from patients 3 and 4?
Very, very good question. We are excited to get those results any day now. We injected them, as I said before. One of them was January 2nd, if you guys remember. These results, you know, when I got the results of, like, for example, the MRI for my own family member, I couldn't stop crying, because these results, we're not embellishing it. We're not telling people that, hey, this is great results based upon people's lives. This is people's lives. My mother-in-law was given a few months to live, and when we saw these results, it was amazing. Dr. Bruce Patterson, ex-Stanford professor, said that this is going to work on everybody because of the mechanism of action of macrophages. So if everybody fit into those criteria, which is about, according to him, 22 different cancers, it's going to work. These results mean everything to me personally, and I'm counting every day. I'm calling the laboratories, and I'm asking the laboratory people, as soon as you get the sample in your lab, call me. 24 hours later, I call them, say, are we there yet? Did we get it? Did we get it? I don't let anybody sleep on this, because this has to do with people's patients' life. And I'm constantly trying to find a way to get things expedited, not just because of our company's shareholder value, but also because mainly the patients' lives. That's why I'm expediting it. And as soon as we get it, you can bet that I will be putting a press release out immediately for any one of these patients' results that comes out.
Okay, all right. Let's go to see if we can go to a live question. I'm going to go to Rodney. So Rodney, if you're listening, just make sure your mic is on. I'll turn it over to you. Rodney, are you there? Okay, I guess he's not. Okay, so let's see. Let's go to the next question. See if anybody else is live here. We got so it's taking a little while. We got a couple hundred people scrolling through here.
And Jack, if you want to read the question, that might even be
yeah.
better.
Let me read through. Yeah, it looks like some people. Okay, it looks like they're not working. They're not.
Because the connection might not be as good, so it'd be better.
Okay. So let's go to so Jeffrey's asking, when do you anticipate FDA approval for Leronlimab?
Once we submit our application and we get notification from FDA that all is good, accelerated approval is 6 months. We do have a rolling review. That means the first section, which was 1 out of 3 sections, has been already submitted. So anybody's guess, but the regulation and the guidelines says accelerated approval is 6 months. We have to just we have to be very, very clear with the shareholders that we are doing everything we're supposed to do, and as FDA requests anything, we would immediately jump and do that request, and we will let you know. We hope to get approval in 6 months. The last product who had accelerated approval, Truganza, was going to get approved for 6 months, but they had manufacturing problems, so it took them a year. We don't have that manufacturing because their manufacturer was in China, and they had all kind of issue with getting audited from FDA. Our manufacturing is AGC in Seattle. They have no problem with auditing. They've been audited by FDA before, and they have a clean bill of health in that regards.
Okay, we got a couple financial related questions. Hector again is asking, once we strengthen our financial situation, which indication will receive priority, he puts that in quotes, priority funds to advance trials?
Once we get, I'm sorry, once we get what?
See, he's asking, once we strengthen our financial situation, which indication will receive priority funds to advance trials?
So breakthrough designation is something that tremendously makes the company's value go high. And that being, 50-60 days from today. So once we get to that point, that trial would be very prioritized for us. That's our priority. BLA would be already submitted because that's, we have to wait 50 days. So our HIV is already set. We have done everything we had to do, and everything is in the right place for FDA to tell us what to do next. In regards to the next trial after that is monotherapy and cancer. And if cancer is a deadly disease and we are stopping that deadly disease, according to the mice data that we had before, it was told to us that mice data showed metastasis inhibited 19 weeks, which is equal to 19 years of human life. I don't know if those things are going to be replicated in that way in the human, but if it's anywhere close to that, that means our priority would be to save life, as our mission clearly states. The second priority would be to increase the quality of life. So monotherapy perhaps would be not our highest priority, but cancer. But if the funding is there, why not do all of them? Because all of these are good for human life if it pans out to be what we believe it's going to be.
Okay, next question from Alan. Alan is asking, please state current cash position and is it adequate for cash burn over the next 3 months of operations?
We have planned for cash operation always, and in the last 5-6 years when the stock was hit as low as 25 cents, we never failed to raise funding. But big thanks gotta go to Paulson Investment for never dropping the ball, even though a lot of people were pushing back against them, why this, why that. They are one of the main reasons we were able to raise 140 million through them. And I was blessed to be able to raise about 90 million myself, and most of that we didn't pay any bank fee, which is $9 million worth of saving and so forth. So if you have a CEO who has raised 90 million or so himself in the times that we almost had nothing, just a phase 2, and if we have a relationship with a banker, investment banking, Paulson Investment that always perform beautifully, I don't see why anybody would worry about when we are about to give our BLA. We have to be careful. I had offers of $20 million overnight with the institution that can hurt our stock, and I said no, thank you. I'm not eager right now to raise money for in any way, shape, or form. I'm just going to raise enough money to get us, as we always have, to the next level. And cash balance, you know, you have to go figure it out. I mean, we got $4.5 million from Viera recently. Warrants are getting exercised. So the last filing, perhaps people can check.
Okay. So we got a question. I don't know if I can read this name, but he's asking, last year NASH talks and cancer talks with non-US farmers were mentioned. Have you seen an increase in partnering interest since the breakthrough designation filing from other farmers?
So I won't be able to talk more than what I have said in the past, that we are engaging with big pharma, small pharma, all of these. And as soon as I sign a non-binding agreement, I tell everybody, even though the practices don't talk about non-binding agreements, you have a binding agreement. So I'm talking about term sheet, non-binding term sheet. We're not going to elaborate too much on these things till you know, when we have a non-binding term sheet. Then we'll let everybody know. But keep in mind that NASH data is being prepared right now to be published. Once that's published, you have validity of what you have. And in regards to cancer, we never got any credibility before because CCR5 antagonists, nobody knew that has this kind of reaction. Pfizer was accidentally shocked that their CCR5 antagonist pill, Maraviroc, which has black box warning and toxicity, was having the effect in GvHD accidentally. I mean, top scientists in the world accidentally found that out, and now they're in colon cancer because they checked it out after they found out there is activity in GvHD. So a little company like us, we just followed their lead, and then our product seems to be very, very beautiful for these indications. So we will you know, continue going forward. So
okay.
Let's take one more question perhaps, and let's call it a day for now.
Okay, yeah, we have a lot more, I think we have close to 200 people on here. So okay, so question from Rodney. I think the question here is, I guess the schedule of milestone payments from Viera. What's the schedule?
The payments, there is payment to us when the BLA is submitted, when BLA is approved for HIV combination therapy, when the first $1 million sale is made, and all the way to when the first $1 billion is sold.
Okay. Do you have time for more, or do you want to wrap it up?
We need to wrap it up. We do have more, you know, news to put out, and we will do this more often. But for now, we got to wrap it up.
Absolutely. Okay. So everybody, thank you for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties we had early on. It looks like it hasn't affected the stock. Looks like we're making a new high today, $112, just a few minutes ago. So, and we'll see you next month. Nader, hopefully we'll have you back again, and we'll have time for more questions. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.